1/5 of the Torah that concerns itself with count, with numbers, with people. And Rashi says that it's out of love for the Jewish people. So I remember when I was Rav in Miami Beach, so every 3 months, the bank used to post to the person's savings account the interest that accumulated over the 3 months. So they posted it at the end of 3-month periods. So on the day that they posted it, there was always a long line outside the bank because everybody wanted to see how much interest they received and posted to their savings book. Something that you love, you count. And therefore, Rashi points out that the Ribbono Shel Olam Kaviyachol loves us, and therefore we are constantly counted. But it's very strange. I'll point out a few questions for you. First of all, the count is obviously not exact because it's always rounded off. It's always an even number at the end. And we know that out of 600,000, over 600,000 people, the chances are infinitesimal that you're going to come, that everyone is going to be 50, 40, 30, 20, but it doesn't work like that. So the count itself is inexact. So to that question, we have a Gemara. Excuse me. We have a Gemara that teaches us that whenever there's a count in the Torah, the Torah doesn't mean it to be an exact count. We have Arboim Yakenu, by the din of Malchus, of lashes. So it says Arboim Yakenu, 40 lashes. We know it's not 40, it's 39. So the Gemara says, Minyan Atsochim Arboim. We round it out to the nearest tenth. So it's the amount that's closest to 40, so it's called 40. And the Ramban says that that's the answer. It says, Shiur of Mitzrayim, Yaakov Avinu came with 70. Rashi already points out it was only 69. And Rashi therefore relies on the Medrash that Yocheved was born Bein HaChomos as they entered Mitzrayim. So there was really 69, but there was 70. And the Ramban says we don't have to say that. We don't have to resort to that Medrash. 69 is 70. It's Midyan Amsochim Asar Boim. And we have it now in Sfira. Chamishim Yom, the Torah says, count 50 days. We don't count 50 days. Count 49 days. But it's also Minyan Asochim Asar Chamishim. It's close to 50. The Gemara in Gedushin even goes much further than that. And it's the opinion of Beit Shammai of how much the ksuba should be. So they said 2,000. So the Gemara makes a cheshbon that it's only 1560, or according to other Girso, 1660. But it's not 2,000. And the Gemara says, well, since it's past more than 1,500, so we go to the next grouping of 500, so we call it 2,000. So we see a principle that the count is never exact. Now, if the count is never exact, we can understand, for instance, it wouldn't be exact because we have a tradition that you don't count people 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have a minyan this Shabbos in Shul, God willing. So they're not going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we count the Shiur Samecha, a post that has 10 words to it, and that's how we count whether we have a minyan. And generally speaking, we are very loath to give an exact count. And then when the Torah itself indicates the Mispar B'nai Yisrael, the count of the Jewish people, the Novi says, Kachol Hayom, will be like the sands of the seashore, Asher lo yimad v'lo yisofer, that cannot be measured nor can it be counted. So the count of the Jewish people can't be counted. And here in the Torah, we have it counted. So the concept is it's not counted exactly. But then why is it counted at all? I mean, what difference does it make? So there are different meforshim here. I'm going to mention a few ideas. One idea is to understand the Nes. Miracles happen daily. And not only every day, every hour, so to speak, has miracles to it. The only thing is that because we're accustomed to it, and as we have seen over the past few months, human beings are very adaptable and we're accustomed to everything, to things that were unimaginable just a few months ago. But if we become accustomed to it, it's not a miracle anymore. The difference between a miracle and nature or natural events is only in our perception of it. Every bolt of lightning is a miracle. Every roar of the thunder is a miracle. But we're accustomed to that. So it's not a miracle, but we explain it. It's the rush of air to fill the vacuum created by the bolt of lightning, whatever, we explain it scientifically, fine. So it lost its miraculous status. It became natural, something that we think we understand. But the Torah always wants us to view life as miraculous. The Torah always wants us to view that we live, we're always living with nisim. So how does that happen? So the Torah has reminders along the way, signposts, so to speak, that indicate the nisim. So here we have, the Torah said that Yaakov Avinu came down to Mitzrayim, the Jewish people were 70, and here there are millions. 630,000 between the males between 20 and 60. And then you have the older people, and you have the children, and you have the women, and you have the Gerim that are not part of any tribe yet. So we're talking about millions. So that's a miracle. So the Torah wanted to emphasize that miracle. So it told Moshe, count them, you see. Bear in mind that not long ago, 2 centuries ago, you were 70. Now you're millions. Well, isn't that miraculous? And that it meant to re-emphasize that idea to us. We can say so in our time as well. I mean, I always have that feeling. Jewish people were 75, 80 years ago, just destroyed. And Israel never had the population that it has. I remember that my mentor, the great Rabbi Rosenberg, Zichrono Livracha, so he had been one of the American Rabbonim that went to the camps immediately after World War II. And he saw them in their poverty and destruction and depression. And later on, many of those survivors moved to America and somehow became very successful. And the big Hasidic communities grew up. So his Chol HaMoed Tiyul was to go and stand on the corner in Williamsburg in New York and just watch. And so everybody came by in their yontif finery, wheeling the buggies, the kids playing. So he told me, he said, look, you know, that's the miracle. It's the miracle. And it is a miracle. So the Torah wanted to emphasize the miracles. It said, count them. So even if the count is not exact, we're not counting because of that. We're counting only because we should realize the miracle that's involved. And therefore, the Meforshim point out that in Tanakh, Shaul counted, so it says, Vayifkedei Batloim, he counted sheep, he didn't count people. And David HaMelech, when he counted directly, was punished, because then you missed the point. Then you're the Bureau of Statistics. And that's not to demean the Bureau of Statistics, but that's not what we're about. And that's what the Novi means, Asher lo yimad velo yisofer. Can't just count people. That's not given us. I was mentioned that in fact, I think it's in next week's Parsha article. So I don't want to step on my own line, but the Torah, when it says count, doesn't say the word sfor, to count. It says in the Soas Rosh, lift up the head of the Jewish people. See how many heads we have. And that's not just a statement of counting, that's a statement of challenge. Pick yourself up. You want to be counted, then pick yourself up. Raise yourself. Be more than just a cipher. And throughout, for instance, the Western world, we've always had this tension between the popular vote. So the popular vote, everybody's the same. The Nobel Prize winner has one vote, and the semi-illiterate person has also one vote. They can cancel each other out. But in the measure of society, we know that that's not the way the world works. And therefore, there's always that tension. On one hand, we want to be a democracy, so then everybody is the same. All men are created equal. But the end is that not all people are equal in what they accomplish, in their effect on society, on what they do. So, therefore, the Torah's count is always inexact. because of the fact that you can't really measure people. When you want an exact count down to the smallest number, so then you're making everyone equal all the time. Because then it's just ciphers, it's numbers, it's fourth grade mathematics. And the Torah wants more from us. So it says, Asher lo yimad v'lo yisofer. The Jewish people should not be measured by that. But the truth of the matter is that we never were measured by numbers. If we would have been measured by numbers, it would have disappeared long ago. And the Torah said, Lo merubchem, I did not choose you because you will be many. You're the fewest of all people. Right? So, there are 1.5 billion Chinese in the world. So, what are we? No matter what we are, we're nothing. But we're something. Not only something, we may be the whole show. And that is a way of looking at life. And therefore, raise your head because you're special. You're the only one here. You're not, nobody else going to be like you. And that's how we build ourselves. And I think that we can make a connection, therefore, between this idea of the Parsha and the day of Yom Yerushalayim, which we are today commemorating. It's a Mukdam this year. Because of the fact that Yerushalayim is also more than a city. It's not defined only by boundaries, by streets. It's more than that. And the fact that it's more than that is what makes Yerushalayim so special. The city that binds all of us together. Every Jew is born in Yerushalayim. Nachman of Breslov said, every step that I take is towards Yerushalayim. And he's not only talking again about the place. Yerushalayim is the combination of a place and of an ideal, of a physical entity and of an intellectual and spiritual greatness. And if we limit it only to the physical entity, then again we demean it. We want to count the exact number. That's not what the Torah wants from us. The Torah wants us to count by raising the head of the people, by making them greater, by inspiring them and pushing them forward. Asher lo yimad v'lo yisofer. And that remains our challenge until today. How do we look at ourselves? How do we look at Yerushalayim? How do we look at our state of Israel? It's more than a state. It has to be more. So even though it has all the nitty gritty of the state and all of the politics and all of the distractions, it really should be more. And I think for a great many Jews who live here, it is more. That's why they are living here. Because if they just want to live in a government and a state, there are other places in the world where Jews can do that today as well. But there's no other place where we can experience the spirituality of a place, the holiness of a place. That's what Chazal meant when they said there's Yerushalayim Shel Mata and Yerushalayim Shel Ma'ala. There's Yerushalayim down here, and there's a greater Yerushalayim. And the Gemara says that they meet and kiss each other. Meaning, you went to Yerushalayim Shel Mata, and human beings can't experience it. But if it's only Yerushalayim Shel Mata, it's only the bottom Yerushalayim, then they don't have what it's supposed to be. They don't have the Yerushalayim Shel Ma'ala. So that's included in the idea of the count. The count is not just the people. The count is the miracle. The count is the greatness. The count is, look what happened to us. Look what we can be. And not just what we are. And that is really the idea that the Meforshim say over and over again in this Chumash Bamidbar. We're going to have in the Chumash, unfortunately, a number of tragic incidents. And this will be the Chumash that the Jewish people miss out on going to Eretz Israel. This is the end of the Dor Bamidbar. Their failure is not so much of what they did, it's what they did not do. It's that they somehow didn't rise to the challenge. They didn't see the miracle. And because of that, therefore, they doomed themselves. If we don't live with miracles, we cannot survive simply on the basis of what we consider facts or natural law or whatever term we want to use. And that's why it's emphasized over and over again in our davening and our prayers. So we should think about it. You know, now that somehow we're going to be able to come back to daven with a minyan. So that's a great thing. But there were advantages to davening b'yechidas without the minyan. And the advantage, I think all of us can admit, is that somehow we gave it more thought. We observed the words more carefully. We heard a nuance that many times is missed when we daven b'tzibur. One of those nuances is nisim. And that's the reason for the count. That's the Chumash Apkudim. And that is what we have to try to live up to. And that's what the Meforshim point out in this week's Parsha. So I thank you all for listening, and I look forward to coming back as soon as I can. And once I come back, I hope to be able to come to shul, and to whatever extent we will restore the normalcy of the regular miracles that exist in Beit Knesset Nasi. Thank you all. Be well. Shabbat Shalom and a happy Yom Yerushalayim.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the chizuk, getting us ready for Shabbat and getting us ready for Yom Yerushalayim, as the majority of us will still not be in shul, but we will be sending warm regards coming Sunday, and there's going to be a special Erev Shabbos chizuk tomorrow, 5 o'clock, also special for Yom Yerushalayim. There will be any other interesting updates, so we'll let you know about Yom Yerushalayim. There is the Women's League event tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Everyone, please stay tuned to that. Tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Women's League event. There was an email that was sent out about it. You have the link for it, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone on the special program Women's League event. And thank you to Shirley March for really taking the lead on this. Everyone have a great evening or a good morning if you're in America. Kol Tov, I'm going to unmute everyone.